Hey guys, Bowie here, and this is Things I've Learned with OG Ceeeeeb's Lycan. As of always guys, just wanted to tell you to check my recent cast. I think my mic and my casting got way better, and I will cast some Dream League games tomorrow, so follow me on Twitch if you're interested. So, it's no surprise that Lycan is a Pugna counter. He very often goes for an Necronomicon, and since he has Gap Close and that Dispel at his disposal, he can constantly kill core Pugnas throughout the game. What most people don't know about is that Lycan wins the lane against Pugna. Very few heroes actually lane well versus Pugna because the Crapify forces the hero to know last hit or to commit mana for it, which means that the kill potential is going to be lower. You might think that Pugna is just a bad player and Ceeeeeb randomly picked Lycan, ended up having to go mid because there was a PL in his team, but if you check the game, he 10th picked responding specifically to the Pugna pick from Radiant, and in fact the Pugna was ahead of every other hero in his team throughout the entire game, so this guy was actually pretty good. When the laning stage starts, you don't really notice much. Pugna uses the crap, and Ceeeeeb cannot really do much, but Lycan still has a lot of base damage and HP regen, which means that more often than not, Pugna will prevent him from getting one creep each wave, but not much more than that. Things really start changing when Ceeeeeb gets level 3 though. A lot of people forget that Lycan is very similar to DK because of the insane amount of HP regen he gets with his passive, but more importantly, his first item after the salve is the ring, so that he has even more sustain in the lane. But he gets the wolves at level 2 and not the sustain, and that's why this hero can actually not only lane versus Pugna, but win the lane. The combined damage of the wolves is 60 at level 2, so it's pretty much another hero, and they also take very little magic damage. Note how Ceeeeeb lets the wolves chill until the creeps start getting low, and then he gets the CS with them. Pugna knows that the crap is kinda wasted at this point, pretty much giving Ceeeeeb every single creep every wave, and sometimes even denies. Pugna decides that killing Ceeeeeb might be a better choice, but look how he micros the wolves. Unlike his hero, they don't draw aggro, so as Ceeeeeb disengages, the wolves are there constantly dealing damage. Ceeeeeb is forced to self to survive, which is bad, but the wolves are also effective to cancel selves and clarities because their move speed is so high. We can also see that even though Ceeeeeb is low HP and cannot go to the low ground, he's getting CS with the wolves and actually has pretty decent HP regen. The lane really starts to change at level 4, since Pugna cannot really wear him down anymore with the extra point in the passive. If we check the CS charts, Lycan is ahead of the Pugna in a lane, something that rarely happens with melee heroes, and it gets worse and worse for the Pugna as Ceeeeeb gets more levels. He constantly gets denies, cancels Pugna's clarities, has absolutely no fear. And even when the little green devil thinks he's good enough to get a solo kill, we see the attack speed reduction of the wolves making it impossible, giving Ceeeeeb a kill as a Lycan versus Pugna. Very weird, right? Lycan is a weird hero, probably the hero that sat as the highest win rate for longer than any hero I can remember in a patch, yet very few players try to use him. Once level 6 is up, you're also impossible to gank, and Ceeeeeb not only uses his move speed to shrine, he gets the Helm of the Dominator ring in the side shop, becoming even harder to be taken out of the lane. The level disadvantage starts to become clearer. After you get level 7, your wolves are also invisible, so Ceeeeeb keeps making use of that to pressure the Pugna. He waits until the lane creeps aggro to him, and then he sends them towards that hero. Now that they have cripple, Pugna's attack speed is not enough to take them down, and he cannot really use Nether Blast on them, zoning him away of the lane. Because of the insane HP regen and wand, he does not fall even though Pugna tries so hard to kill him. Not only he can farm the lane now, he's almost impossible to gank since he has 2 little kill wards guarding the lane for him. But one thing I did not mention is that this hero does not need Necro 3 to counter the Pugna. Lycan is one of the fastest heroes at having a chance to obtain a Dispel, and once the Helm of the Dominator is completed, look how he kills Pugna again. Instead of ulting and just running at the Pugna with the Dispel, he chills. He has vision of Wraith King and Brew in the top lane, but once Pugna commits the Decrepify, he knows he's 100% dead. He disengages from the life drain first without ever committing the Dispel since he's standing still, and only when he's about to get into the tree area, he slows him. Even though he dove for the kill, the salve and the sustain of this hero allow Ceeeeeb to constantly get more golden experience than the Pugna while pressuring the tower. This hero is also so good this game because he's able to hard commit for towers, and not having that against a Treant can be quite problematic. It was a great 10th pick by Ceeeeeb. It's very similar to DK, but with the added bonus of Lycan dealing well with the Pugna way better than the Dragon Knight. One of the reasons to skip boots going with Lycan is that you rarely fight outside of your ult and you rarely move too much out of the mid lane. On top of that, since you have 2 sets of Ancients around you, you won't be traveling much deeper inside the jungle, meaning that you don't farm much slower, and getting that Necro 3 is an insane power spike, especially in this game versus that Pugna. Ceeeeeeb did die once, but you rarely have to go back to base, meaning that you don't have huge trips you make by foot, which would maybe hinder your farm. You can see that the objective here is getting Necro 3 as fast as possible. Necro 1 doesn't make you that much stronger in fights, meaning he just uses Necro 1 to farm. Actually, since it was nighttime, note how Ceeeeeeb just keeps farming the Ancients, hoping that Venge doesn't get vision of him, since his ult is almost ready, and he doesn't want to show, because the Venge would probably run away. She ends up baiting herself in, and this is a one fight for Ceeeeeeb, and then another tower that he acquired. One thing to mention during the fight is how Ceeeeeeb constantly attack moves with the Lycan. Lycan has insane move speed but not great attack speed. This means that if you just right click units and hope they die, you will be dealing way less damage as the enemy team disengages. And this is a great example. He attacks Venge, gets Drunken Haze, and it's clear that this hero is unbound from his wolves here. See how he moves by itself and constantly uses the move speed to already set up the next attack. That also makes it very hard for Venge to juke him, and that is another thing. This is a very cool play by Ceeeeeeb. He gets his Necro 3, and when they find Treant, he's okay not popping it, but once the Winter's Curse sets more kills, he goes all out. You can see the Decrepify being completely nullified by the Necro 3, killing the Pugna, and the constant attack move he performs with his units as well when he's chasing the Venge. They attack faster than Lycan, but even then, if you're chasing, that increases your damage over distance traveled very much. Lycan is a very similar hero to Terrorblade, in the sense that one fight could be one or more lanes of barracks falling, but the biggest difference is how the timing of Lycan comes online faster, and it looks like a lot of players started to notice that. While his pick rate decreased, his win rate skyrocketed. He holds a 67% win rate in Divine Plus games, 80% win rate in Crusader and lower games. This hero obviously takes some time to get used to, but you shouldn't forget about it just because he's boring. This game ends up quite fast after that fight, since they roche and then they can just win another fight in the game. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. Twitter is where I talk about stuff, post some memes, so follow me there if you're interested. As I said in the beginning, I will be casting some Dream League games. I'm not going to be covering everything because they have amazing cover and I don't think people are really that much interested, but I want to keep on practicing my casting, so make sure to follow me on Twitch. If you have a spare Twitch Prime, that really helps, that's awesome. And yeah, I also have an Instagram and a Discord channel that you can find. Thanks for watching guys, hope you're having a great day, and bye!